So while there's not a lot of people in here, how's the audio? I think I fixed the problem I was having last stream. Uh, to where like I think I had my webcam. I don't even have a webcam. I have one. I don't even know where it is, but it's not connected or anything. But I think it was putting the audio through the webcam and the mic because it was on in like the software I'm using. So I'd have to assume that was probably the issue. So if someone can tell me if I sound a lot, not echoey or like anything like that, it'd be very helpful before I really begin here. Also, my chair is the loudest thing in the goddamn world. All right, here we go. All right, while I'm waiting for more people to join the live stream, I want to see if this works. Okay. So now it's streaming to my Xbox. I'm literally, I think this is the intermission tab. I don't know why. I couldn't get this to work before. This is the one that, like, it just randomly works. Like, through my, Elgato software in my Xbox, which is, like, what I have Rocket League on and stuff. So, during this live stream, uh, we're gonna be, like, just mostly, like, talking and stuff like that. And, like, I'll just play Rocket League. I don't even, like, really pay attention to the game, so don't expect anything good out of my performance here. But kind of just, like, helps me get my thoughts together. Like, it's kind of some, like, mindless, like, brainless thing you can do while you're just, like, thinking or, like, talking. Like, and honestly, like, I've done this, like, a million times. Like, I've had, like, very deep discussions just, like, playing Rocket League at 3 in the morning with my friends. Like, and you're not paying attention to the game, like, literally at all. You're just, like, driving around, not doing anything else. So, what is Winter Breakaway? I might play that after the stream because that sounds pretty interesting. But I'll just play. Okay, make casual. I got it. See, I'm just gonna play around a little bit because right now it's showing. Let me make sure. So it's showing 2 viewers. Yeah, so I'll probably wait like a few more minutes. Hopefully get around like 5-ish people before I like really like get into it. But for now, we'll fuck around and play some Rocket League. I also can't even get the try to get my controller clacking out of there. I can't even get it to go, the volume to for the Elgato to go like for the game to go on the thing. I'd say my teammate. Oh shit. He's gonna want to save him. I am thinking about for like things like this, like more discussion based live streams, which you guys can tell me enjoy those, the more like, you know, just like talking kind of about like, I mean, technically like that's gonna be like at pretty much every live stream, but like more like talking about some like more general topic, like what we're gonna talk on today. I'm thinking about like having, I guess you could say like a guest. Oh shit! Like someone just to like in real time bounce off ideas off of and things like that. For whoever watched my what is that? What did I call it? We live in a society. For whoever watched that video, I was talking to my friend Paulina, thinking like doing something like that. I think would be a good way to do it. I didn't do it for today, obviously, as you can tell, but I'm kind of thinking about going that direction with it, but I'm not really sure. If I can say it. That was a nice shot. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I think because I'm viewing it on my phone from a different account. I actually think I'm, because it says I have one viewer. I'm pretty sure I am that one viewer though. So if more people don't join, because like obviously like these archive and stuff. So at the very least, I'd like to have like an interesting video on the channel that's not like just me playing Rocket League kind of in silence. So I'm gonna wait. I would say wait another minute. Trying to vote the forfeit. I'm gonna wait another minute till 10 minutes in. I'll probably cut it if I archive it. I think I can get like edit it and like cut all this stuff out. And then I'm just gonna start talking. And yeah, we'll go from there. And then hopefully people join. Because I do have a lot of questions for people. I think today's live stream was gonna be something else. Honestly, it was gonna be about Arcane, which I still want. I still want to do that. Just not at the current moment. Because like honestly, like I don't have the energy right now specifically to do that. To like actually like analyze like media and things like that, which is, you know, kind of what my channel's about. But which I not that I liked, but I found the concept of literally just not having this energy to do like the creative live stream that I wanted to do. I find that to be very interesting, and that is going to be the topic for today. Like just not having the energy to like if I want to make a certain video or like do a certain live stream, not really being, not realistically anyway, being able to do that just based off of like my energy levels at the current moment. So okay, so we got 3 viewers in here right now, and yeah, it's like 10 minutes. So for anyone in here, I would like to ask you a very important question. A question that has been on my mind for a little bit, but especially today, you know, when I decided to do the live stream. Do you guys do like creative work? And when I mean creative work, I'm not talking about like just making YouTube videos or like painting or like writing poetry or anything like that. I'm just talking about like when me and my friend Paulina talked in our the one video we made on this channel. She was talking about like someone making like creatively making tables. Like even stuff like that. Like any work that you would consider to be a creative endeavor that you personally have to motivate yourself to do. Do any of you guys like really participate in that? 'Cause I am very, because I have a follow-up question after that. I'm very curious about that. Because obviously, I mean, if you're watching this video, you're on the channel. Obviously, I do have that, and I'm just curious if anyone who would also say that they have something like that, uh, and if they also like work a job. I mean, based off my analytics, like I think most people on my channel are age 18 to 24. So I would assume most of you guys like have jobs or maybe full-time jobs, part-time jobs, whatever. I would assume most of you guys have that. And I would like to know, and also if you're watching this archive, you can also comment that. For me, I don't work. Okay. I didn't work because I graduated college not that long ago. Well, okay, low key, it's kind of like, oh my god, like almost half a year ago. What was that, May? So that's kind of crazy. But I didn't really work throughout college because I mean I didn't necessarily have to, and for me, the balance of work, life, especially with something with school, like college, even high school, and things like that. That's pretty much a full-time job, I think, especially at the college level. Oh, my whole team left. And I did find it very hard because I had a job once over college. It was during the summer, so I don't know if it really counts. Worked at I'm not going to say specifically which one, but I worked at a coffee shop. And I didn't do YouTube. I've always been, not always, but for the most part, since pretty much entering high school, and actually no, middle school too, I've been a writer. And what I've written, like the style and like poetry, prose, like all that stuff, that has always changed very significantly throughout the years. But in like middle school, like I wrote a lot of poetry, not good poetry, but I don't know if a middle schooler is even capable of writing good poetry. Did my game freeze? Oh my god. My game froze. Alright, hold up. I'm trying to boot that back out. But I wrote a lot of poetry in middle school, but then that kind of evolved into... I wrote rap lyrics, and they weren't very good. And I will never intentionally share them, but if you want to find them, they're out there. That's all I'll say about that. But they are out there. But I've always done creative things, but I never I did YouTube. My junior year of college, it was. That's when I started. So what was that, like a year ago, something like that? I don't know. But so when I worked at this job, it was freshman year of college. It was after freshman year of college, so I didn't really have like necessarily. Let me take my headphones off. I didn't have a commitment like I do now. Oh shit. Yeah, my headphones always fall, and they're literally, the one is taped on, which is not ideal. Oh, it's because my arm's wrapped around. There we go. I'll put them over here. I don't want to fall again. All right, try to enter another game. But yeah, when I worked this other job, I found it very hard to find that work-life balance. And like I said, that was in the summer, so I didn't really have to balance college or anything like that. But just like enjoying life, I guess. Like I mean, I was working like 3 to 11, like basically every day. Like yeah, I was quote unquote part time, but I wasn't really I was literally full time. And I found it very hard to keep that balance, like to hold on to that. And I find now that I want to do YouTube in a full-time capacity. It's kind of the goal. Well, the goal right now is to get monetized, and that will, be one of those steps into getting towards, doing YouTube full-time. But I can't really do. I can't have an output that is like full time YouTuber. You know, like these like weekly videos that are like, you know, maybe they're super long or like pretty in depth, or I mean, people like upload like every day, you know, and I find it very hard to even keep the schedule that I have. And I started working at another coffee shop that I will not name, but I started working at another one, different one. And I've been working. I work 12 to 8 today, and I find that it literally sucks the energy out of me. Like I've been working on my arcane video, the script, and the script isn't my least favorite part of any like the videos I make, but it's definitely the hardest part. In that, that's where I believe uh, the most creativity for me. That's where that lies. You know, making the script. That's what I'm gonna say in the video. You know, that all obviously lies within the script. And I'm on that. I'm still on that portion right now, and like this is becoming a very very long video, which like I didn't want to happen, but I'm not gonna stop it. I'm just gonna like let it flow naturally out of me, and if it happens to be long, it's gonna be a long video, whatever. That's what happened by a Mori video, honestly. I didn't want it to be that long. It just ended up like that. But I find myself now to where I just find it very hard to work on something so mentally demanding as script writing. You know, because I mean I don't want to just like put out a video. Like I obviously I want it to be good. I want there to be quality in all of the videos that I make. Like I want you guys to click on that video, and I mean my personal goal for every video I make is that to present an interesting thought. Even with something like this, I'm not talking about any media, or I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head, but I would hope at the very least I'm presenting an idea that maybe you've thought of, but maybe from a perspective that you hadn't thought about it before. Or, you know, at least to intrigue you. That's the main goal of every video on my channel. And to be able to do that on a scripted video where the expectations are a bit higher, I don't really have the energy to do that. I find that when I come home from work, all I really want to do is relax. And I think that's a common sentiment that is shared with pretty much everyone who works at least at some high capacity, is they want to come home and they just want to relax. And to me, that kind of represents that within the current framework that we have, society isn't really built to support creative work. Because obviously you have to like work at, you know, you usually some like dead end job, or like for me it's like a minimum wage job. Like you have to do all that full time, usually full time if you're like on your own as an adult and have the bills and things like that. You're probably working at least 35 hours a week. And you know, when you're young, you don't really have the well, for one, you don't have the same benefits that come from like maybe a higher paying job, for one. And you don't really have the stability that you kind of see in like for like 40, you know. Not to say that those people don't have the same problem, but at the very least, from what it seems like, they do have a little more stability and a little more flexibility. But when you're working, I think young people now, when they're working, they literally don't have the time to work on those creative projects, but more so, they don't have the energy. Like I find that, you know, I work 12 to 8. I usually work like 1 to 9:15, and I like to go to bed. I want to go to bed early, And obviously, like, I haven't really been getting enough sleep, which is not anything new, so don't worry too much. But I find that I need to stay up pretty late in order to get any video scripting done, at least for this, Arcane video. But at the same time, it's like sometimes I have to force myself to write, and I've never really, not that I've never felt like that. Like, obviously everyone gets writer's block, but it's not something that I'm particularly used to. Because when I'm really passionate about a project, like, kind of just like, it just kind of, not to say it writes itself. I don't want to undermine the process here, but the words, in a way, kind of fly off the page. If I scored once, no, I haven't. They kind of fly off the page in a way. You know? I'm going to drink. So I'm not really used to feeling like I literally have to force myself to sit down and write. But, like, if I do that, normally it kind of comes out like shit. Like, the video I have now, the script, like, it's good. I do think it's, I think I said it's in a text post, but I think it's great, but it needs a lot of work. Because I'm finding it very hard to focus, and I'm more just kind of getting the ideas out there. You know? And I'm just finding it hard to balance both of them. And that's not even to talk about, like, the actual, like, enjoying life aspect to all that. Because, honestly, like, going out and, like, having fun or things like that, like, that's not even really in the equation right now. Because, it's do the little chores around the house that I end up doing. And it's, working whatever hours a week. And then it's trying to get YouTube off the ground. Trying to keep up with what I want to be a full-time YouTuber output without obviously having the time or energy of a full-time YouTuber. So even trying to balance all that, you leave virtually no room to just, like, have fun. Like, yeah, I do relax. Like, last night I didn't do any script work or anything like that, but... So, I do relax, obviously. But, like, actually going out and having fun with my friends, it's not as much in the equation, I wouldn't say. And I find that when I talk to my friends or look at their lives, they're kind of in a similar boat. And really, not many of them do, like, creative things. Like, I guess you call it a side hustle or whatever. They just have, like, they have their, their full-time jobs or whatever, and they don't really, they don't really do too much outside of that. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say that the adult life, quote unquote, is just inherently joyless, or like, you don't really do stuff. You don't really go and have fun. I'm not gonna say that, because that's not true. I think it is important to, like, cherish the little things that that can happen throughout your day and, like, can bring you a little bit of joy. But on a wider scale, I kind of find that, this is what me and my friend Paulina talked about in the We Live in a Society video. You don't really have the time or the energy to have fun. Like, when you come home, you kind of just want to do nothing. Let alone go out or anything like that. And especially if you come home and you have scripts to write or things like that. So, I don't know. I find it, the work-life balance, to be extremely difficult. And I find it to be near impossible when you're trying to balance something else with it. Like a side hustle or a creative project or, like, anything like that. and you kind of, I feel like you kind of have to cut something out to make it work. And for me, that's kind of been going on, like having fun and things like that, like I said. So, yeah. I would like to know if you guys, whether you're watching it now or watching it later, and like say it in the comments and things like that. I would like to know how your guys' work-life balance is, and if you found over the years some kind of way to help with that balance. You know, maybe like some framework you live your life by, or you know, something in that capacity. So you're finding the time to work and provide for yourself, have some fun, and you know, work on any like side hustles or creative endeavors that you really want to. You know, so I think a lot of people live their lives without the intention of really enjoying them. Now, when I say that, obviously everyone wants to enjoy that. Like, I couldn't imagine there's really anybody who wouldn't want to enjoy their life, you know? Like, why would you not want to? Unless you're like a masochist or something. But I find that most people that I've talked to or met or experienced, they're just waiting for, to quote Amori here, they're waiting for something to happen. To where, for example, like, okay, so I like I said, I work 12 to 8 today. And basically that whole time, 8 hours of my day, which I only have a limited amount of time on the planet Earth, 8 hours of my day, I was sitting there, you know, doing work or whatever, but just like begging for time to pass faster. Like I literally didn't want to be there. Or I wanted my life to be accelerated, which, like I said, only a limited amount of life and days we have on this earth. And to live a life where you want, honestly, I mean, if you're, you know, a traditionally working adult, where you want most of your days to just go by faster, like 80%. Like 60% of, no, probably like 80% of your time when you're not sleeping, you just want that to be over with. Like, isn't that really fucking depressing? Like, and I feel that, and obviously I don't just work one day a week. Like, I normally work 4 to 5. Right now I'm working like 6 shifts in a row. And almost all of those are like, you know, 8-hour shifts. And I'm finding that, like, I just want this week to go by. But then that week turns into that month. I just want this month to go by. And then it, you know, for more traditionally working adults, it kind of turns into, okay, I just want my vacation, my 2 weeks of PTO. If you even get that. But I just want that. I'm waiting for that. You know, I'm not... Everything else, I just want it to fly by. Like, yeah, there may be some little things here that I'm going to enjoy, but, like... And maybe I'll, you know, talk by the water cooler about the newest show that came out or whatever. And I'll enjoy that conversation. But I'm going to want that to just go by. You know, I don't want to be here. I'm somewhere I don't want to be. And I'm just waiting for PTO where I can go to Florida and sip pina coladas in my 3-star resort. So that's all I can afford at my job. Like, that's what it seems like life has become. And then even going a step further, which this is where it gets very, very depressing. Sorry to depress everybody. I don't know why I get so depressing about it, but it's waiting. Okay, when I retire. And that just hurts me inside. When I hear people talk about, okay, well, when I retire, I'll, you know, buy a boat and go fishing or something. Ouch. I'm not calling you out. Don't worry. but but you threw me off. Don't send this. Don't send the skull emojis. Stop that. I'm not calling you out. Don't worry. But yeah, that waiting for 2 weeks of PTO, that evolves to, yeah, I'm waiting till I retire. It'll happen. I'll wait. Then when I retire, then I can enjoy myself. I can relax a little bit. You know, buy that boat, go fishing. I can do all these things. I can finally travel, do all these things. But by that time, like, your body, even depending on which job you've done, whether it be like in an office job or like construction or things like that, all of those things are going to affect your body in a different way. And you're not going to really be able to travel like that at 65. Or at the current rate we're going, you know, like 85. When we finally get to retire. If ever. So I just find it very depressing looking at life, which is, I mean, it's the most precious thing in existence. You know, existence kind of is life. The reason a lot of the stuff you say is depressing is because our current lives are depressing. I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to be depressing on like purpose. I'm just like, that's kind of how it is. That's what I found, is that, like, I mean, most of my friends are depressed. Not that they'll admit that to others or themselves, but they are depressed, right? And it kind of seems like that's the default, is being like, just like, at least mildly depressed, or just like, at least, at the very least, a little bit numb to like life, you know? And then the breaks you get from that are like when someone dies. Like, then you're just really sad. Or, you know, when, like, let's say you have like a family, like a child is born. Like, you have those. Life isn't 100% depressing or gloomy. Like, you know, I mean, for some people, it's a little closer to that. But I think for most of us, we have those moments where we are truly happy. Whether it be through a family or career success or just playing video games with your friends or even just by yourself, you know? We have those moments. But the problem I have with that is they're moments. Like, they are moments. That's kind of poetic. They're not... I don't think most people could really sit back and analyze their lives and say that they were happy for most of it. Or even like 90% of it. Because about 80-90% of that is just wishing time would go by faster. You know? Let me get a drink. I almost just hit my computer off the desk. And I would have cried. And this is... I feel like numbness is a good word to describe what most of life feels like. Yeah. I think that might be maybe the best word I would say to describe it. Like I said, it's wanting life to just go by faster. When I think you want that consciously, subconsciously, or whatever, but you kind of forget that you only have a limited amount of time to live that life. So you're basically just wanting it to be over, not over, but like 80% of that. You're just like, okay, yeah, let's just let the time fly. And I've heard that, like, once you become an adult, like, which the definition for that is obviously very broad, but once you become a more traditional adult, that time just really starts to fly by. Whether that be because you just wanted to, or I've heard it's because you're kind of doing the same thing every day. It's all about repetition. And like I said in the one video that I keep referencing, this is what me and Paulina really talked about. We kind of have to have that repetition. Like we evolutionarily, like that's part of the reason why we've survived this long is because we can form habits. Not even just us, but like all animals. We form habits that are seen as beneficial to us. I definitely forgot we have limited time now. I'm sad. Well, the good thing about being sad about it, or being very down about it, is if you're not sad about it and you don't really think about it, you're just gonna do it, but you're not gonna realize. And I think that's even more sad, because if you're aware of it, and especially if you feel some kind of negative emotion towards it, I think that's the first step to change it. And I don't want to make it seem like it's not changeable. Now, the current society, we live in a society. The current framework that we live in, like I said, it's certainly not lenient towards creativity or creative projects or side hustles or things like that. And the sad truth is that those projects are usually the ones that will give you that like self-sustainability that I think a lot of people desire or feel they need to enjoy life. So it's like our framework isn't giving us time to escape our framework. And that's kind of the cycle that is breakable, but I have found that personally it is very, 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 very hard to break. It is very steadfast. And it is kind of, I think it's purposely built that way, but I don't want to just literally rehash the video I already put out. But I don't think, aside from that, that it has to stay that way. And what I mean by that is, I think you can not change completely, but I think you can shift your mindset. And there's a movie, it's called About Time. Very, very good movie. It's like a romance movie. And the conclusion, spoilers alert for About Time if you're really interested in seeing it, but I'm not really going to spoil the story, just like kind of like the final theme of it or whatever. But the conclusion they come to is that you have to live. This is going to sound incredibly cliche, but you have to live your life like it's every day like it's your last. That kind of classic saying. And I don't want to be too cliche, so I'll word it a little differently. You have to live your life with intention. And in the movie, the main character and his like father and like all the men in the family, they can time travel. Like they can travel back in time. Not in the future, they can just travel back. And the conclusion they come to is like, or like the golden rule of thumb that you do, you don't go back and change things. But every night before you go to bed, you get up, they have to go in the dark, so like you go in the closet or whatever. And you go back to the beginning of that day. And then what you do is, like I said, you don't change anything. You do everything pretty much exactly the same. You obviously you can't possibly do everything exactly the same, but to the best of your ability, do things the same. But this time, because now that it's like watching a TV show where like, yeah, you've already seen it, so like you can pay attention to little details. It's literally the same thing. Because you've already experienced that day, you know what's going to happen. But that gives you the ability to notice the little details and really enjoy them. And it shows like him being in a coffee shop, which is very topical, and him having a good interaction with the worker. Before it was like a very like, he just kind of brushed her off, but then he went back and like, he had like a good conversation with her. And that's like the best example I have right now. I don't know if it's because I have coffee shops on the mind, but oh my god, that was terrible. No, I lost your train of thought. But yeah, he goes back and has this good interaction with her. And it's just about noticing those little details. And the final conclusion they come to is that you don't have to time travel anymore. Like, that's kind of just like the training wheels that it takes to really enjoy every day of your life. And eventually, you don't repeat the day again. You just notice it the first time. Or you pay attention to all those things the first time. And I think that's what it means to live your life with intention. Is that you're not wishing for things to go by faster. Or like, oh, I just can't wait to get out of work. Or things like that. You take those little moments and you really cherish them. And I think that's a shift in mindset that can be helpful. That being said, that's not... I don't think that's like a permanent fix or anything. And I don't think you can even have like a full change in mindset. Because like I said before, like, yeah, you can have those very happy little moments. But at the end of the day, they are moments. And I do think it's important to cherish them. And I think it can make your life, I want to say better, but it can make you live with a little more intention. But we as people, evolutionarily, like I said, we form those habits. And for the brain to really be able to process everything going on in the day with all these days in your life, it does kind of make every day feel like the same. Like, the brain literally intentionally makes it seem like that. And it's like when you're driving in the car and you've done this route let's say you're driving away to work. You've done this route literally a million times. Right? Like, over and over. You countless times. And so now you're driving to work and you're just listening to a podcast or whatever, and you don't really remember driving to work. Now, this doesn't mean you're a reckless driver or anything, but just that you're literally, like, you're not consciously aware of it. Because your brain's so used to that it knows where to go. And you get subconsciously pay attention to, like, traffic signals and, like, other cars and, like, things like that. Like, that's literally how the brain works. And I think it is a similar thing with, like, going to work and things like that. To where, like, naturally, what it wants to do is kind of ignore everything going on. And, you know, make you wish that it just fly by and, like, to make time kind of fly by. Like, you know, when adults say, like, oh, yeah, it's... After you get out of school, like, everything just flies... Your life's basically over. Everything just flies by. It's kind of like that, because the brain makes it want... It wants to do that, because that's how it literally stays sane. Because it can only process so much information at one time. It's actually very efficient. Just cutting out all the information that's not, like, consciously necessary at the moment. And to be able to do that, it has to be like, okay, let's do the same thing every day. That's kind of what you naturally want to do. But we're pretty smart. You know, we're human beings. I'd like to think we're a little more than just a brain that relies on habits. And I do think, to some degree, we can kind of bypass that a little bit. To where we're able to enjoy every moment of life. Or not even enjoy necessarily, but we're able to be aware of every moment in life. And that we won't naturally just want to bypass everything. We won't want to bypass life. I think we're capable of that. Not that I've done that, because it's extremely hard to do that, because work is very stressful, and life is stressful. And a lot of times when it's not stressful, it's fucking boring. So it is very hard to do that. And I'm preaching about it, but I don't even do it myself. So that should make it clear that, yeah, it's not going to be easy, and it's something to feel, like, down about if you can't really accomplish that right away or anything like that. But I think it's good practice, because I think it's good to practice that. Because I don't see any point in life aside from just enjoying it. Like, I don't believe in any, like, higher purpose or religion or, I guess, a deeper meaning to life. Deeper meaning as in, like, externally based. Like, life has inherent meaning or things like that. I think life is just life. Life just exists. Life is existence. And I just don't see any other point to that than, okay, let's just enjoy it while we're here. And society isn't based off that. I think society, economics, whatever, is based off, let's pump as much money out of ourselves as like the collective, like a body of people. Let's just pump as much money out of this as we can. Or let's exploit people or like things like that. It's not like a capitalism, like communism thing. Like, I think every nation in practice pretty much does this to some degree or another. And yeah, I just don't think the framework within we live our lives, I don't think it's based off enjoying life. And I just don't see why that would be. I think that's dumb. So, if anyone has any, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon, but if anyone has any answers to that question of society's framework or any thoughts about that, I'd be very interested to hear that. I mean, that's why I'm like doing live streams, things like that, because I want to interact with you guys and like hear those opinions in real time and see what new thoughts or perspectives they give me, and then we can go back and forth. That's the benefit of conversation. Is that only as Tsubasa Hanakawa would say, I only know what I know. So I can only like discover so many ideas, perspectives, thoughts, whatever. I can only discover so many things by myself. And I find that talking or conversating about things like this is where like I actually get like the real ideas. Because then I can shift my own perspective based on other people's perspective. And it's just all just very incredibly interesting, I think. So if anyone has a perspective, I would love to hear it. Like I said, whether it be in real time or in the comments. I do love responding to the comments as well. Was I supposed to go for that ball? No, I'm good. I think I've been losing every game. And I'm like just not really been aware of it. Because like I said, I am like not paying attention at all. I feel like our societal framework has really evolved since the Industrial Revolution, even though society's capabilities have. That's an interesting I'm gonna put down the controller for a second. It's an interesting thought. Oh fuck me. And my feet are tangled. There we go. Well, certainly society's capabilities have evolved a lot. But I think when we look at evolving capabilities, I think we look at purely technological, or not technological, more like practical. Like 70 years ago, I mean like 10, 20 years ago, we didn't have phones or computers or, whatever you can think of that we didn't have. We didn't have those things. So certainly our capabilities have. Like, let's say the phone. Even like the telephone or the cell phone or whatever. Our capabilities have increased because, like, if I need to look up something, yeah, I can look up at Google in 2 seconds. Or the worldwide communication has evolved so much to where, like, ideas are just, like, compounding against each other, kind of like a live stream. But I would question, even though practically we have the capabilities have evolved, has society, or not only society, but have those capabilities evolved in terms of intention behind it? And what I mean by that is, our intentions since the Industrial Revolution, certainly, or even far before that, as primitive cavemen, our intentions, like any animal, has always been to survive, right? And I think we take our technological evolution that we have, or the new capabilities that we have, and we put it under the same framework, right? To where, saying that, I do think we associate survival with money. So when I say that society is just kind of exists to pump out as much money as possible, I think that's because, to some extent, that's what we associate with surviving, right? I think for pretty obvious reasons. But is that really that much of like an evolution? If like, yeah, we have more technology and more advanced technology, but like, I guess it's like a societal hive mind. Are we really advancing so much to like, we're changing our mindset on things? When I think of a truly evolved society, I think of a place like Athens, to where, you know, the philosophical pursuits or the artistic pursuits, or, you know, all of those things, the things that were outside of surviving, like purely surviving as individuals and as like a group of people. Like, that's what I think of when I think of true human evolution. And I think that's what, like, most science fiction, more like vanilla science fiction, like something like Back to the Future, something like that. Even aside from all, like, the hoverboards and things like that, it was the way that people lived their lives that really can, like... Actually, I don't know if Back to the Future is like that. I actually haven't seen it forever, but... My vision is the way people live their lives are inherently different. And the reason that we get technology, like, that we evolve our capabilities, is different than, yeah, let's just pump out as much money as possible. Which, again, I associate with, yeah, let's just survive. So I don't think... Our capabilities have evolved, obviously. But, like you said, the societal framework really hasn't. And even deeper than just the framework, it's the reasoning behind the capabilities hasn't changed. We haven't evolved. In that way, we haven't evolved from like the people, like pretty much like primitive cavemen, I guess you could say. We haven't evolved past that. You know, we're still in our own like very distorted way, which having money tied to survival has like it's like a whole issue in its own. But in our own twisted way, we are just trying as a society to survive instead of enjoy our lives. Which again, I see that shift would be true evolution, I think. So I definitely like your point a lot. I wouldn't have thought about that if you didn't say that, so thank you. If anyone else has any thoughts about that, definitely be interested to hear and respond to them, because, you know, we're talking about like societal frameworks and like, you know, everything like that. So we as a hive, he's trying to demo me. We as a hive mind need to come to these conclusions ourselves, like as a collective. So I personally, I can't do that because I'm just one person, and we're talking about grander things than that. Of course, we all have our individual perspectives on it, especially with like work-life balance, things like that, because we all have a little bit different of a balance. But The previous comment I made also applies directly to our education system. So, in America, and I could be completely wrong about this. So, I never want that's a disclaimer. I never want anybody to quote me on this. But I do believe that we still run in a system to where, let's say you like have a school district, like you go into high school. It's like like the public school district. I do believe the funding for that, for like the literal school funding, is mostly derived from like the taxes and like the tax brackets and all that stuff of the people that live there in that school district. Now, obviously, like state funding, yeah, it's a thing, and like I don't know if federal funding has too much to play into like things like in America like that. Obviously, I don't know how it is for other countries, but I'm just talking about from the perspective that, from where I live. But I do believe it runs on a system that it's literally like, I should have made that shot. It's the income of the people that live there. And obviously, I do think the problem with that should be obvious. And I do think that archaic system is a big reason why we see impoverished communities remain impoverished. Because education is pretty much the main way to break those communities out of poverty, or those people, right? They get education, education leads to like, in a one-on-one comparison, leads to more money. Now, it doesn't exactly work like that, but for the sake of the example, we'll just say that, because it kind of does. But when you have, already like very poor people go to school with a system and budget that is run by the tax brackets of poor people, those schools basically just remain unfunded. I'm pretty sure I've heard something about that as well. Yeah, I know it used to be run like this for sure. I do think it still is ran like this. So when you have, like, you're just not getting the education that you need, right? I personally believe, at the very least, all funding for schools should be completely controlled by the state or even federalized. Like, we have, like, the state dictates what you have to learn for the most part. Give us funding. Give us, like, all the funding we need. Pretty much break it up evenly. Because it's completely unfair to impoverished communities that they don't get the education funding that other places get. And then when they don't get that, the community remains impoverished, because education leads to basically being able to get more money as an individual and then pay more taxes and things like that. So it's literally just a cycle of that. So again, if I'm wrong here, correct me. But I'm gonna just assume I'm right about this. If that is the system that we have, my God, is that the worst thing ever? It might be it's one of my biggest problems with America. Also, stuff like that is how the effects of segregation have still remained in America. So I don't know the exact. Actually, that's a very interesting point. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't know the exact. I believe it's called redlining. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but actually, I don't know. Okay, I don't really have that much stuff to do with it, actually, but you find that when you have impoverished communities, a large part of those communities, like inner city and like things like that, are made of like people of color, whether it be like Black, Hispanic, like immigrants, things like that, like Asian immigrants, like literally any person you can think of that hasn't had like a privilege within America, right? So you have those people are impoverished because they're in these communities, right? And they literally just can't really break out of that. Because the education system and a lot of it's not just the education system. Let's make that very clear. There's a lot of other like racially fueled policies within America, or even not necessarily racially fueled, but policies that affect people of certain races disproportionately. And so, yeah, it's not just the education thing. But I think the education thing is the main thing. And it keeps those people impoverished, right? And I think a point I made, I was having a conversation with, like, a group of people. Let me get a drink real quick. Oh, so we were 1 in 5. My God. My God. But I was having a conversation with a group of people, like a few years ago, probably like 2 or 3, something like that. And I made the point that, cause you have the I don't know exactly what it's called. I know there's a name for it, but let's say it's like special scholarships for some schools for like people of color, or people from certain communities, or whatever. And a lot of people think that's unfair. And I mean, I do understand the sentiment. However, I argued back that true equality means that two people that can be a different race, different community, nationality, whatever, like completely two different people that come from two different worlds, they start out on the same level, right? And I don't think it's enough to not recognize like something like race or economic status. I think we've recognized it as a country for so long that I think it's honestly very unfair to just be like, yeah, I don't see race or things like that. But I think it's important to give, like, have like scholarships like that or whatever, so that you can catch those communities up, basically. Like, get them on. It crashed again. Like, get them on the same level, and I think that is true equality. So the point here is that many of the systems we have, not even just in America, because this isn't really just an American problem, but the systems we have, like, on a world basis they're very archaic. And they're not based off the enjoyment of life. And especially not based off the enjoyment of life for other, certain groups of people or communities or economic status or anything like that. I think that's the crux of the debate here. Also, this has really evolved from me just complaining. Basically, the stream for the first like half an hour has been me complaining about having to work, which is very funny. It's obviously not just that, but it's kind of how it started, so that's very funny. But it has kind of evolved a lot from that. Now we're talking about all this stuff. And that's kind of why I chose to do live streams. Is that, like, in my videos, like, I have a very, like, central point, and, I have a point I'm trying to get across. But I think for the live streams, it's nice to just, like, yeah, it's like I want it to be, like, a chill thing. We're just, like, talking, like, whenever I have a debate with anybody about anything, the conversation veers off drastically, especially in, like, the podcast that I'm in. Like, we never stay on the same topic. So I do like that a lot. And that's kind of what I want the live streams. I'm banned? What did I do? Whatever. I don't care. That's kind of what the live streams to be. Is that just kind of discussion. Things like that. Really connecting with the fans of the channel. Also, another thing with affirmative that's what it is. Okay. That's the term I was trying to think of. I think a lot of critics of them think that they will be permanent even though they aren't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. Let me get a drink real quick. Like I said, I think things like that are necessary to catch people up. And then when they're caught up, like, which determining that, like, that's almost impossible. So I'm not like, I don't have the answers for this or anything like that, but just kind of my own personal opinion on it. I don't think they're permanent. Like they're just it's to get people caught up that drastically need it. And it's I don't want to say it's the only way for true equality in the world or in this country or whatever cuz obviously there's a lot of different opinions on that and it's probably an answer out there that no one's even thought of yet. Hopefully, at least. I would at least hope. But I think it's the best way we have now uh, as like a temporary booster, I think. Like I said, I understand people's issue with it, but like I'm not saying I necessarily think that someone who is like more qualified for a position shouldn't get it because someone else who is less qualified is of a certain community or race or whatever. But I think that's a kind of a shallow problem to have. And because it really depends on what you mean by qualification. Like if you're just talking about like education or like things you've done in your life, I don't really count it as qualification. You know? Because like people from poor communities or people of certain races or things like that, they haven't had the opportunity to get that education to be quote unquote better for the job or given the opportunities to even prove themselves to be more worthy of the job. So, well, yeah, I technically, I don't think someone who isn't deserving of a job should just get a job based off, like, the race they are or whatever. You can't really quantify uh, if they deserve the job. It's basically impossible, honestly. Because, like I said, the metrics we use to measure that are based on unfair metrics. Because they're favoring the people that start off on a higher level. Which the point of something like affirmative action is to get the people not on that level on that level. So, like I said, I do think it's the way to go, and I do understand people's issues with it, but you know, I don't think that they think enough about it or like too deeply about it. Because I think there's so much stuff that goes into this that, a lot of people just don't have, the energy to think about stuff like that. Like, we're all just fucking tired. We can't all have an educated debate. But at the same time, if you're going to, like, strongly disagree with things, you should at least be caught up on all the relevant information. So, I do think it's a bit, hypocritical to so strongly be against something while also being like too tired to even really I don't like the word educated because like I'm trying to avoid like I don't think it's about education, like I said, like I don't think it's a good metric at all to really view much of anything, but people that just aren't thinking about it hard enough. That's what I think on that. So, yeah. Like I said, I do love the live streams for conversations like this. Like, am I ever gonna make a video on affirmative action? Maybe. I mean, quite possibly. I mean, at least for right now. No shit. My channel is mostly based on, like, you know, analyzing media and things like that. You know, I mean, is it? That's kind of not true, but it kind of is. I don't know. But I don't really see many media that tackle affirmative action. Not that I really watch or experience that much media, because, like, I don't really find most, like, 98% of it very interesting. And I don't really want to watch something if it's interesting or if I'm forcing myself to watch it for content purposes. So I'll probably never really talk about, like, something like affirmative action or anytime soon, at least. But, you know, I'll try, like, the live streams. You know, we're talking about just kind of chatting. You know, I kind of want to name the titles for these live streams like, yeah, let's just chat, because essentially that's what it is. I think a good live stream is that, but it's also like I don't think I have a big enough audience like to where like enough people are gonna click on that. And the more the merrier, you know. So if I can get like new like people that haven't seen the channel and like they click on it for whatever, you know, a certain title, like a catchy title or whatever, yeah, I'm down for that. But you know, if I ever hit like, you know, when I grow my audience, I would hope to just be like, yeah, let's just chat, let's just fucking hang out and talk about affirmative action, because that's a good time. Honestly, like. It's probably my favorite content to make, quite honestly, is just like to just sit down off the top of the head and just like have conversation. And not just because it's the easiest. It is the easiest, don't get me wrong. But it's I don't know, I just find it very, very fun. Am I playing fours? I'm on the red team. Oh my god. I am just not paying any attention right now. But yeah, I just like talking. And if I can integrate fun into work, that'd be fantastic. That's like the dream and goal for like every job, basically. So yeah, I like the live streams. I definitely wanna, you know, it's a bit nerve-wracking before I like press go live, like for a variety of reasons. I do enjoy them a lot so far. And, like, obviously, like, I'm most proud of, like, the scripted stuff. Like, I'm not, you know, the most proud of, like, all the other stuff. So I'm obviously going to still make the other stuff. But, yeah, it's just fun. It's a nice, it's a nice thing to just, like, decompress after a long 12 to 8 shift. So, I might even live stream more, honestly. I just want I don't want to flood the channel too much with them, because then like it doesn't look good on the like the homepage. Like, you know, you gotta have the homepage looking good. So you know the vibes. You know the vibes. Does anyone have anything else that you literally just want to bring up? It can literally be anything. I'm gonna wrap this up pretty soon, but I want to talk about one more thing. Also, yeah, we're gonna. We're losing 1-4. Oh my god. I want to talk about. I need one more thing. Someone has to comment one more thing. Proud of all this stuff. Thank you. I mean, yeah. I mean, I do like all this stuff. Like, I have. There's some level of pride, of course, but I think the more work you put into something, the more proud you are gonna be of it. I'd also think the scripted stuff is a lot more like organized and. While the unscripted, when I'm having like a discussion, so like live streaming things like that, I can discover new ideas better. If I actually want to develop those ideas, scripted's usually the way to go. And then you get more of like the emotional aspect. Like, obviously my Arcane video is not out yet, but I want the ending of the video to be very emotional, not just intellectually stimulating, but very emotionally stimulating. Through the use of like less traditional writing styles and more like poetry, which I've already incorporated in my work, or like more like one more thing. How do you prevent getting fatigued from even creative work? You don't. That's what I'm asking you guys. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I mean, I've already said this to you, but I'll say it for the sake of the stream, of course. But with whatever creative thing you're doing, literally, it could be literally anything. You have to. Oh fuck. You have to discover. So can we say one more thing? Oh my god. Classic comment right there. Like let's say you quit retail coffee shop jobs and then start doing. I'm not. Let's start doing creative work, but even that's too much because now your livelihood solely depends on self-discipline. Okay. And I don't have an answer for that. For starters, you have to ask, when it comes to self-discipline, you have to ask why you're doing it in the first place or why you want to do it. And if your answer is ever just to get money, stop doing it. Find something else. Not to say you don't find a creative thing, but find something else. I think. Not to say that money isn't good. I mean, my main goal on the channel right now is to get monetized, make money. But that's more, and I want to, like, everyone wants a lot of money. It's not, of course we do, for the most part. But if that's the sole motivating, not the sole, but the main motivating factor, or the reason you want to do something creative is to make money, stop doing it. Because you're not going to be self-disciplined. Now, I've explained this to you personally, but like I said, it's for the sake of the stream. I create. I wouldn't even say it's a desire. Like, I don't even know if I really shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know if I want to make videos. I actually had a video idea that might make some time being like, I hate you making YouTube videos, right? I hate YouTuber. I don't know, something like that. And it's like, I don't really want to make videos. It's just that I have ideas or perspectives that I just, my body literally needs to get out there. Like, they're just ready to burst out. Like, I can't, it's gonna happen anyway. I might as well make it organized, That's the creative process for me. That's what I said earlier in the stream. I'm like, I don't like force stuff to have to write, because I don't have to do it. It just comes out of me. So like actually having like getting writer's block, like having to actually force stuff to do it, is like very hard for me. But if it's something like that, to where you don't really have a choice anyway, self-discipline isn't that hard. Because if it's going to happen anyway, let's make a little money off it. Let's build an audience. Let's, not to say I don't enjoy making videos, I do. It is certainly better than anything else I would be doing. The problem I face, I think, is I don't really want to be doing anything, but at the same time, I don't want to be doing nothing. Which I don't know how many people really can relate to that, but I relate to that at least, so. I don't really, I don't know. Like I said, find the reason you want to do it, whatever it is, and go from there. That's the best advice I can give. Now, I'm not even saying that full-time creative work even is the way to go. It's the way I want to go, but my favorite poet, or at the very least, my second favorite poet ever, T.S. Eliot. He's my favorite. W.H. Auden's my second, but T.S. Eliot's my first. He's one of the most famous poets of all time. I mean, The Wasteland is one of the most famous poems of all time. Amongst some other things he has. A ton of other stuff. Like Cats, the musical, is based off of Eliot. I don't know if anyone knew that. I don't know if anyone even likes Cats. I love Cats, though. the animal and the musical. But he was never a full-time poet. He was an editor. And he always said that he didn't want to become a full-time poet because he didn't want his work to be affected by financial need. Like, he didn't want to, like a lot of people, the sad truth is, a lot of people, not even a lot of people, 99% of creative jobs out there require you to basically sell out. Or not really do the work that you truly want to be doing. That's why I like YouTube, even with all its problems. Like, you are in charge of yourself, and, like, you can find an audience out there for anything you want to do. There is some kind of audience out there, even if you might not be able to find it for whatever reason. But it is out there. It is possible. Most people sell out because of financial need, you know? And Elliot never wanted that to happen, so he never quit his full-time job. I'm not sure how much money he made from the poems he made, but he never quit his job. And of course, the problem with that is that a dilemma I face is that, yeah, it's nice for your work to truly be free, but then you can't really do work because you don't have the time or the energy. So full-time, to have the capacity or like the output of a full-time YouTuber, you have to kind of be a full-time YouTuber. So, yeah. I do imagine that at some point I'll just get sick of everything. When I'm like 40, I'm not going to like make films or write books or make YouTube videos or whatever. Hopefully I find... hopefully I, like, you know, can go from thing to thing and just find something that always interests me. For me, there are also a lot of things that I want to say, but in real life I don't have much ability to say them, and online it's too much effort to say them. Well, online it is certainly a lot of effort to say them. But I think my personal advice, I don't know if you're really asking for advice, but I'd like to give some advice anyway. It's hard to say what you really want to say when there's other people involved. Because, like, maybe you'll change your mind, or, like, changing your mind on a basis of not, like, actually changing it, but, like, feeling like you need to, or things like that. Is this gonna crash again? Oh my god. Oh my god. Why do I play this shitty game? But yeah, my advice... It's probably gonna not let me join a lobby again. My advice would be, if you think of something, like something you find interesting, like an interesting thought, or like something you just want to say, write it down. Like, literally just write it down. In the moment, don't talk to anybody about it or like have a conversation. Just write it down. And, you know, when you do something like YouTube or like other kind of writing or things like that, you do have to have an ability to say what you think. I do struggle with that a lot, like having that ability, but I think I have it to some degree at least, I would hope. I mean, you guys tell me if I don't, but it's hard to say the feeling you have inside, or the image or the thought or whatever. It's hard to get that out to the world. So don't do that. Just say it to yourself. Write it down. It doesn't have to be some fancy language, or honestly, it doesn't even have to be comprehensible to anybody but yourself, because that's your thought. And just do that. You know, I think it'll help you remember your thoughts, get things a little more organized. And thinking is important. Thinking is important. And your ideas, every idea you have, has value. So write it down. Next time you have an interesting thought, write it down. And just keep doing that over and over. Not for every thought, obviously. That'd be literally insane. But for the most part, just if you have an interesting thought, write it down. And then if you ever decide, okay, I want to express these thoughts, because for a very convoluted reason that would take like an hour to explain, thoughts do desire to be expressed to other people. But then it might be a little more organized if you have it written down, like things like that. So you might be able to express that more And then let's say you want to, express those thoughts online or something like that. You might be better able to do that. So that'd be my not that you asked for advice, but that is my advice. Do I have 2 computers on my team? Alright. I'm gonna try hard for like 30 seconds. Someone else. I need one more thing. Because now the blood's flowing. Hour and a half in and the blood's finally flowing. I'm ready. Someone throw me a topic. My body is ready. I'm gonna look in like 30 seconds. Let me just like actually play this game for like. Okay, I'm already fucking up. I'm already fumbling the bag. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why I tried. Oh, we scored anyway. That is a cool goal thing. Oh my god. Come on, people. I know there's a delay. One more thing. Think. Think, people. Think. Oh my god, it's already midnight. Or almost midnight. My god. Also, Kai, you better have eaten that taco dip. In fact, I want to hear how the taco dip was. So I worked hard on that taco dip at 2 in the morning. That was $30. And nobody ate it. Ooh. Wow, I suck at this game. Oh my god. This stream is like procrastination, but it's not. But it's about not stopping work instead of not starting. It's kind of like a reverse thing. No. Like I said, I just got like the blood flowing. I just cause streaming, I've never really been like interested in streaming necessarily. Like, I only really decided to start streaming to feel like I could focus on the longer form analysis that I know almost all of you guys are here to see. Like, yeah, I love making like impromptu videos. Like, I've actually been doing that a little more, but like, to be quite honest, like those are very low effort, so I can still focus on like the longer, more effort stuff. Kai, if you do not eat the taco dip, I'm gonna cry. I will cry. I bought 2 bags of chips. I only went through half of them. Eat the taco dip. But yeah, those impromptu videos, I do love those. I'm gonna keep putting them out, cause like that's just how my thoughts work. Like, I have random thought. I'm like, oh yeah, make a video. Cause this whole channel it's not just me. It's not really me making videos. It's literally me just getting my thoughts out there, and in the best form that I can think of, which is making videos, for the most part. For the most part. We know that we live in a society, but do we society in a live? Now that's an interesting question. So interesting, I have no idea how to answer that. Phoenix, is that Phoenix Kai in the chat? Featuring, is that a damning emoji? How'd you even do that? Did I have those activated? I don't even remember. Face, how you doing, buddy? How is the coffee shop? The one I don't work at. Ever heard of Scoob and Shag, the webcomic? No. But I need an explanation right now. Hi. I need an explanation right this second of what Scoob and Shag is. But yeah, like I was saying, the impromptu videos are very random, so like I'm not gonna rely on those. But I like to have a little more consistent content on like at least a weekly basis, preferably more like a few times a week. to just like keep you guys engaged and like, you know, kind of just talk, you know, chill out. Then I feel like I can not have to put a video out every week, like an actual scripted video, which like I was doing for a little bit, but like it wasn't really necessarily the quality. Not that I thought they were bad videos. I still love those videos. I love every video I make. They're all my babies. But it's not really the quality I was here for. It wasn't as in depth as I wanted it to be, for the most part, anyway. And I want to work on videos like my Mori video, or what I've decided is my favorite video I've ever made, the Doki Doki Literature Club video. Which a certain person that's probably still in this chat has not yet watched. I do think it's my best video, which sadly no one looks at anymore. So if you are in this chat, fan of the channel or not, and you have not seen the Monica video, watch it. Even if you haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club, you can still watch a little bit of it. I think it's my best video. I want to make videos like that, so I want a consistent like live streaming thing for a variety of reasons. So I was a bit nervous to live stream, but I think I'm warming up to it. And one rematch. Basically, it starts out as a shit post, but turns into an actual story with a power system and horror elements, and all the characters are from cartoons. Which... Well, first of all, which cartoons? Like, how broad are we talking here? Because that actually sounds very interesting. Also, you say webcomic, is that like on like random like free sites, or is it like a webtoon? Like something like that? Because I'm gonna look this up after the stream. Can't promise I'll read it, but I'm gonna look it up. And if it's interesting enough, and it sounds pretty interesting, you might see a video on it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Fix, I wasn't talking about... If you're saying sorry about the Monica thing, I was not talking about you. But thank you for letting me know that you have... Why did no one watch it? When it first came out, it was like my best performing video in that time. And like, the title was kind of... I love the thumbnail. It's the best thumbnail like I have on the channel. But the title was kind of shit, so like I don't think it didn't really do. The click-through rate's pretty shit on it, so pretty sad about that. But hopefully one day it'll just catch in the algorithm and blow up, because I fucking love that video. It's on Webtoon. That's fantastic, because I love Webtoon as a platform and as like a reading thing. Not that I've read I used to read like 2 years ago. I don't know how big you are into Webtoons. About like a year and a half ago. I think it's when quarantine first started. So it was like a year and a half ago. My God, year and a half ago. That's insane. Oh my God. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. I was reading. Hold on. I'm just gonna pull it up because I'm not gonna remember. Because if you, like I said, depending on how big you are into Webtoons, I would like to give you some recommendations. Okay. Where's my... Oh my God. Okay. So... Where is it? I was actually before quarantine. Oh, shit. It was before quarantine. I'm assuming you know Merryweather. It was Everywhere and Nowhere. I don't know if you've read it. Michael Lies the one I read. Okay. I mean, would you want... would you be interested in reading more? In fact, how did you even find... If you don't really are in the platform, how did you, find it? You said it, started out as, a shit post. Was it, You just, found it as, a meme or something? I listened to a recommendation, though. Okay. So, the first one I started was Everywhere and Nowhere. I do love it, but I wanted... The best recommendation I could probably give... Let me see what I'm subscribed to. I'd say if you like shonen, like a My Hero Academia or like anything like that, I would highly, and I got into this like fairly recently. It was probably like half a year ago, something like that, maybe closer to a year ago. Jungle Juice on Webtoons, fantastic. Honestly, one of the best shonen series I've experienced. And then one other one, if you want more of like a shojo kind of thing, I don't really know what you're into. I saw a random YouTube video a while ago. Yeah, it's kind of what I figured. Kind of just saw it randomly. But if you want a more like shojo thing, Cursed Princess Club is a very wholesome yet emotionally resonant story. And it has music. Like you literally read it and it has music, which is I love that. It is awesome. Did I just score my own? Okay, no, I don't. My favorite webtoon is Cory in the House. Check it out real good. Isn't the guy from Cory in the House like in jail? Is that a thing? If anyone can answer that, it's probably you. Is he in jail? Because I think he is. For very bad reasons. Or at least he's getting investigated or in trial or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he did some not great things. Which I'm not going to mention, but I mean, I'm not even sure what he did, so like I'm not going to like I'm not even sure if he's I could be just completely wrong about this, but I think I did hear he was. Oh, yeah, look it up. Actually, you know, hold on. Actually, did you look it up? Is that what you're saying? If you did, you don't have to say it by name, but if you could subtly allude to whatever it was. Because I'm assuming you just looked it up. That's why you're saying, You let the audience know. Alleged, yeah, okay. That's, yeah, that's around, it's about what I thought, yeah. Is this still your favorite webtoon? Whoops. That just soils it, doesn't it? Hee hee. What the fuck? That just soils it all. It's like the, Mr. Mosby, too. All these, like, Disney actors. Like, Mr. Mosby, like, being committed of, like, manslaughter. No, I don't know. I don't think he actually murdered well, someone did die, but he got for manslaughter. But I don't think he, like, murdered anybody. I don't know exactly what it was, but all these fucking Disney stars. My God. My God. Just fucked up. Take it off Webtoons. Oh, so you spelled Cory wrong. Separate art from the artist. There's a with Cory in. First of all, I don't think Cory in the House is worth doing that. There's a video. Did I talk about this? Oh, I talked about this in the second podcast episode we did. It was a car accident. Yeah, that's what I thought. The second podcast episode we did, I talked about this. Separating the art from the artist. There's a Mother's Basement video, anime YouTuber, love the guy, Drake Bell too. Yeah, fucking, he's not Disney, but Drake Bell. Or what is his new artist name? So someone put it in the chat. What is his new name? It's like when he just moved to Mexico and started making music, thinking he was like gonna escape the law somehow. What's his new name? I completely forgot. But yeah, Mother's Basement, great anime analysis channel. One of my favorite YouTube channels in general. He made a video about separating art from artists. Mr. Mosby is wholesome. I think it was a car accident. Yeah, that's what Phoenix said. I'm not young. I'm not like blaming the guy or like I'm not really saying it. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not like making a statement or anything about like that. But Just like the fact, like, all these stars do not come for him. I am not coming for him. I am being very civil with the man. I'll talk to him any day. I will have a full conversation with him. I'll go for it. I don't even like him on the show that much, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm an open book here. But yeah, he made a video separating art from artist, and I think to some degree, yeah, I don't think I don't think it's inherently soils the art, because good art is good art, or art you deem as good is good to you. But he made the point of Ryuichi Kenshin. I can't pronounce it, but it's a manga, very famous manga, and the creator of the manga, he purchased images off the interwebs of certain things. I'll just leave it at that. And like he literally did that. Like it's a proven thing he did that. And every time you buy the manga or experience the story, I'm not saying not to do that, because art deserves to be, looked at and all that stuff. And you can have your own opinions if, like, you should view the art at all. I'm not really making a statement one way or the other about that. I'm more making the point that, like, if you buy the manga or, like, the anime or whatever, like, even streaming it, which I don't believe in piracy, so, yeah. He gets royalties for that. Well, actually, that's the first time I've scored all live stream. That's insane. And, that was a long distance, too. But he gets royalties for that. And not only I don't think he deserves money in general, but that money could be going towards the exploitation of people. Because, I mean, he purchased things, and I would have to assume that money was from the manga. So, that's the point Mother's Basement made in the video. Like, you can have your opinion one way or the other about, like, the actual art itself, but just thinking about where the money is going, if you're experiencing it legally, makes the situation a bit more complicated, to say the least. Not to say there's a definite one way or the other. Like I said, everyone has their opinions on it, but certainly makes it more complicated, I think. Oh, wow, there's a lot. Okay. It was a DUI, but it was in the 93, and he's reformed. Oh, of course. He's a reformed man, of course. He's Mr. Mosby now. Wait, it was before the show? So was he in jail before the show? Oh. No, well, that's all the more see. I want Kai on the mic. Phoenix is speaking, wants me on the mic. NFTs, apes. Bizarre JoJo fan, good night. Thank you for tuning in. It's also getting late for me as well, but for whatever reason, I am still going. So have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. See ya, JoJo. Oyasumi. I think if you're going to talk about separating art from artists, you should definitely think about the person who created a Mori's soundtrack. Isn't his name Pedro Silva? Is that his name? Could you elaborate on that a little more? Because I don't know what you're talking about. Did he or they or she or whatever, like, do something bad? I don't know what you're referencing there. So if you could elaborate a little more. Also, Kai, you want to get on the mic? Get on the mic. Why do I need to be here? You're clearly a better live streamer than I am. Where are you getting all these emojis from? Are they just off your phone? Can I set... I don't know how to stream. I literally have, like, look at this. Look at that transition. That is literally the standard like I have the bare bones setup right now. That's what I got going on. I do like it though, the neon. But yeah, can you elaborate on the Amori thing a little further? Cause I'm not sad enough. I could be a little more. Yeah, that's what I thought. Might as well depress me even more. Alright, stop sending emojis. Go to bed. Swaggy boy. Okay, okay. Alright, I'm gonna try for the last of this game. While I wait for you guys to say other stuff. Nope. I'm trying to make the car sound. Okay, this is my chance. Nope. Wow, I am just not good at the game. I think several years ago, Pedro Silver was abusive in some relationships. Okay. Yeah, I have not heard about that once. Is that like a common thing within the community, like that knowledge? Like that's a thing? Because like honestly, like I'd like to think at least I contribute to the community. What's a rematch? In the way that I've made a video, several videos, but one main video. That's basically I contribute to the community a little bit, but like I'm not really that involved in it, to be quite honest. Like I'm in like the big Discord, but like I talked in it for like two days, and I just really can't do Discord. So is that like common knowledge in the community? That's like a thing. You remember when I beat you in a 1v1 Nuketown in Black Ops 3 and you to sell me? You never used good perks. That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. I am not a fan of this fake news. You have never beaten me in Call of Duty. And I always beat you in Halo. And that's the real news. I don't appreciate this fake news you're soiling my live stream with. That is not appreciated. It hurts. It hurts me. Lies. Fake news. When in doubt, fake news. Fake news. You disagree with me? You put an article that's not favorable towards me? Fake news. Of course, saying that fake news is a problem on every side of the argument. Fake news. Didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop dabbing. Stop. Might just Squidward dabbing. It is somewhat known. I would recommend checking out Serial Introvert's video about cancel Omocap. I did... Oh, shit. There we go. Ooh, epic save. I did see... I got suggested that video, but I didn't watch it. I remember the thumbnail was pretty cool though. I remember the thumbnail. It was like debunking the hashtag on Twitter or whatever. Does he make a lot of videos? I don't think he really makes videos anymore. But I've only seen one of his. It was the Aubrey. It was like his first analysis video. It was just like Aubrey video. Where he just like analyzed Aubrey, which like I wasn't really my style, personally. So I didn't really want to watch other videos, but you are getting me intrigued. I think I'll probably check it out at some point. Were they trying to cancel Omocat for that? Like hiring him or whatever. Or even, you said several years ago, that could be like, I mean, the game was in development for like 6-7 years, so maybe it didn't even happen when like they were working on the game. I don't know. Because like I don't really, like I said before, I don't really have a solidified opinion on that. Like certainly, like I don't want to support people, like I don't want to support crime, you know, like the example I gave, like directly like financially supporting crime. But in the general term of like separating art from artist, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have a solidified opinion on that. Now, do I think somebody like that, if he truly like did do that, deserves to work on the game? You know, then it's a different story. But the game already being out and like all that stuff and like just not supporting the game at all, I don't know if I would go that far. I do know another point he brought up, Mother's Basement, in his video was like, so many different people work on these projects and things like that. It's like the actions of one person and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a solidified opinion on that, but I had not heard about that before you just told me, so. Thank you for telling me. I do like to be knowledgeable in all of these different things. Yeah, I said I hadn't seen Serial Introvert's video on it, but I probably will check it out now. I think because I really like his analysis of Aubrey, but like at the same time, like analyzing community is like a lot different, and I think the style of like pretty much going over events would be more in tune with like a community analysis, and that's something I want. That's my problem. Not problem, but it's one of the reasons why I don't really enjoy most of the analysis surrounding Amori as a game, or just honestly most things in general. But especially because I watched in preparation for my video, I watched pretty much every Amori analysis like that I could find. And one thing I didn't like was like just basically going over the game again, like retelling the events. Which, like, in some parts, yeah, is kind of necessary, but, you know. I just don't really, I don't really see, personally speaking, because I can understand, like, you want to relive those emotions, but for me personally, like, I already played the game, and I don't really need to relive them through the same perspective. And I think when I worked on my video, I wanted to make sure that I could offer a new perspective, whether it be theories or my own thoughts and characters or the story or whatever. Even the ending of my video, I made sure that it was emotionally resonant. I think I'm trying to do with my Arcane video, but maybe a little less so. And kind of to some degree, I already went to rematch. To some degree, I kind of retold the events of the game, but in another, I think I gave it a fresh perspective. So, like I said, I can understand the need or the desire to like watch or make these kind of analysis videos, but like Serial Introvert's video on Aubrey. But yeah, it's not really, not really for me personally. I don't really find it to be very interesting. But community like that, that'd probably be a little more interesting. So I think I'll check it out. I don't know how I got on this side tangent, but yeah. All right, we're about to hit 2 hours, and it is past midnight. Jesus Christ. So what I'm gonna do is for real this time. I want to talk about one more thing. I promise it's the last time. Because like I said, I got the blood flowing. While I still got that going, I would like to talk about one more thing. And then end the stream. So if anyone has ever wanted to ask me, or get my thoughts, rather, on any topic you want, as long as it's appropriate, let's hear it. And it'll be the last thing I talk about tonight. And then we'll wrap it up. I think that's the way to go. So I'll give you... I know it's like a delay too, so... I'll go hard for like 30 seconds again. And see what kind of topics we got going. If any. I know it is pretty late, so... I've never been like talking for like 2 hours, so... Ooh! That's how we do it. What's your favorite food? Okay. Now, this is a big one. Burritos. My favorite food is lemons. Your favorite food is lemons? Like, what do you mean by food? Because that's like an ingredient. Like, my favorite ingredient is onions. Onions can pretty much go in anything. Nani Aro... Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. You know I dropped out of Japanese. But yeah, do you mean, like, ingredient or, like, actual food? Like, you just putting lemon, like, in things, like a little lemon zest, or squeeze lemon in your rice? Are you talking, like, you just eat lemons? Like, you just, like, pounded down, like, whole lemons? Like, what are we talking about here? Because now I gotta know. Because now I'm intrigued. Oh, God damn it. I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna carry the team on my back. I like to eat lemons. Okay. Question. Another question. Do you eat the rind? Do you eat the rind? Like the outer shell? Like, are you eating them like apples? Or you like to cut them up and like let's say like you got a restaurant, you get like a water with lemon, it has a little like lime slice, and you're just like I eat the lime all the time after that. I don't like lime water, but like when I did like it, I'd always eat the lime. That was like the best part of the water. Are you talking that? Or are you talking like the rind, like the outer shell? That's the big question tonight. I am the bottom of the board. Oh my god. Swaggy, wait, I've seen this guy like 30 minutes ago. Swaggy boy. My boy, my swaggy boy. You're back. What's going on, buddy? Is he on my team? Oh, he's on my team this time. He was against me. Because if you like the rind, I eat oranges like that. I just bite into them. People think it's weird. Like if I have like the little mini oranges, I just eat them like berries. I just plop in my mouth. Like I don't cut them. Like I don't peel them. It's just a waste of time. I don't cut them. I just plop in my mouth. Because the rind is the healthiest part. And I think sometimes it's kind of nasty, but like the bitterness of the rind is a very nice counterbalance to the sweetness of the actual like fruit. Now maybe I'm watching too much Food Wars, but I think it's a good juxtaposition in flavors. So if you eat the rind, respect to you. I used to eat the skin, but they might be dirty, so I don't have them anymore. I usually just eat the part that has the juice. Okay, that's a good point. Even if you wash them, you don't really know like what's in the rind, but it is the healthiest part though. So if you ever find some really clean lemons, you know what to do. I also eat peanuts like that. I eat the shell. I don't know why people just peel, like, open them up. The best part's the shell. It's the salty part, which I've been told is disgusting, but fight me. What do you want from it? But my favorite food is burritos. And here, the burrito is quintessential. It is the most important food. Wants to party up. Oh my god. Literally every single thing you could want. Anything. Think of any condiment, ingredient, meat, veggie, anything. Sauce. Put in a tortilla. You have a burrito. It is literally at the apex of the food pyramid. You literally cannot go wrong with a burrito. It's not possible because you can put literally anything in there. Now, my favorite food is the classic burrito, like a ground beef or a barbacoa in there. I lived off of Chipotle in college, so you know I love burritos. But it was always a toss-up between burgers and burritos for my favorite. Burritos, it crashed again. Burritos have taken the top spot. For sure. It's everything you can want. Like I said, you literally cannot go wrong with the burrito. And like you have the two sides. You have like the meaty, juicy side, and you have like all like the fresh like veggie stuff. Like you have that on the other side, you know. Like the rice on one, the rice beans, and like all the stuff on the other. Like you can literally just choose. Like, if you're feeling a little, for that bite, if you're feeling a little meaty, you want a little meat in that bite? A little meat to chew on? Yeah, you bite the left side. Go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. But then if you want a little freshness, you want to cut through the beef. You want to cut through it. Got the sauce on the other. You can literally choose when to do it. It's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful harmony of food ingredients. So burrito is always the way to go. Now, I am vegetarian, so I don't eat meat anymore. But so I can't eat the barbacoa. But rice and beans at Chipotle, got that one side. Or if I like Impossible ground beef, the best stuff ever. I make the best Impossible ground beef you'll ever have. I make it. I'll send it to you in the mail if you really want it. That's good. On the left side. So, Salsaritas has a fake ground beef too, which is pretty decent, but not as good as mine, of course. So yeah, burritos are the way to go, for sure. And I don't burgers. I don't really eat burgers as much anymore. Red Robin apparently has an Impossible burger, which I found it tonight, which is a must. But yeah, I don't really eat burgers that much. Frogs. Fans. We've talked about this. We need to just skip the first season. I don't care. We need to skip it. Amphibia is not entertaining for the first season so far. It's kind of boring. But frogs are always still a must. All right. Well, let me adjust the mic here a little bit. I'm going to come up to it now. I'm going to come up close and personal to you. I'm going to wrap it up here. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. I liked this stream a lot. We passed 2 hours. So technically, this will be the longest video on my channel, which is fun. But yeah, everyone who stuck around, thank you. And this is the kind of format that no. All right, we won't We'll watch the first 2 seasons. Don't worry. But this is the kind of format that I want to go with. A little more laid back. Just getting the ideas out there. And connecting with you guys. And just talking. We're all just bulling, you know. I hate that word. I don't know why I used that word. But yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I will be streaming. When is Christmas? Oh my god. Christmas is coming up. The next video on the channel, aside from like impromptu, like more low effort quote unquote videos or like live streams, will probably not be my Arcane video because I'm not even done with the script. So I have a Christmas video I want to make about how I think I'm going to title it Karen's Killed Christmas, which is very fun. Or Christmas is Dead, because Christmas is literally dead. That's what I've learned this year. So that's probably the next video, actual video on the channel. It'll be scripted. But yeah, that's what you can look forward to. And I do want to do an Arcane stream. Just looking over some of the scenes, like non-spoiler stuff, to kind of get you guys to hopefully watch Arcane if you haven't. And to kind of get the hype cycle going for the big vid. Probably my longest scripted video yet. So, yeah, look forward to that. And a possible stream during the week whenever I feel like it. Roughly around this time of night, though. Like 9, 10-ish. And yeah. Everyone enjoy the holiday season. And thank you, as always, for watching.